Hello, my name is MrSpaml and welcome back to another video in Unturned 2. In this video, we're reflecting on the past year. Very dramatic title, I know. Nelson did a Steam kind of anniversary announcement where he went through everything that's happened over the past year. And I thought I'd go through and kind of add my thoughts and points. And, he mentioned some things which I think might be very important to point out. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's a little homeless guy. Yeah, here he is. He's dead. Hello? And if you're not already subscribed, what are you messing at? Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell button. Check out the Pine hosting competition. You got to do that. We got $200 worth of prizes. There's the best build, the best PvP clip, and the best Pine hosting server. There's all the details of how to enter down in the description below, but these are some massive prizes to be won, and I highly recommend you go check it out. And let's go ahead.
Get started.
I'm using that, you know.
No, please.
Yes. So he starts off with reflecting on the past year. Thank you for another great year in the Unturned community. We have now been out of early access for longer than the original early access period. We've been out of early access for 4 years. It was in early access for 3. Gosh, Unturned's an old game at this point.
Pretty much a boomer.
This past year saw 35 updates, which sounds ridiculously high. That's, a couple a month. Bringing a variety of major content and features to the game. 35 seems a little bit, most of those are
bug fixes,
bug
or
fixes.
Like 3-line updates,
Yeah. So don't get me wrong, there have been some pretty major updates, obviously with like the sound and stuff, but 35 does make it sound a little bit more ambitious than it really was. And Unturned 2, I wonder how many Unturned 2s had in that time, unless he's including Unturned 2 updates in that number.
No.
Who knows?
I don't think, I think Unturned 2's had about 2.
In 2020, I would say it's had like 4 or 5, maybe.
Well, this is the past year between, so yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
It's not just 2021. Right, so the first one was the Ulva release, which I'm sure many of you have played that map. Spaml and I have played it a little bit, and I did think it was quite a different map. Definitely did things a lot different to other maps, which was quite nice to see. So Nelson says here, Danaby and Renaxon, I think that's how you say your name, shook up gameplay in really interesting ways. This kickstarted a lot of innovation in the map projects to experiment and establish unique identities. I think this cemented my role as a programmer for the game designers, albeit I need to prioritize some of the critical foundation rewrites before the new gameplay features on the horizon. Okay, I don't really understand what the last sentence means, but the sentence before that is pretty much saying that he's admitted his defeat as a map designer, and I think he's going to be leaving the map designs to the community. At least for Unturned 3 by the sounds of things. Yeah,
which makes a lot of sense and will hopefully give him more time to focus on Unturned 2. Saying that, I don't think he was working on any Unturned 3 map anyway. Yeah, because it was Russia, then Germany. I think that's the order. I think Germany was an official one. It's been a very long time since he released an Unturned 3 map, so I suppose it's only curated from now on. Don't know how I feel about that, although hopefully we'll give him time to start working on the Unturned 2 map. Not just this Unturned 2 like prop ones. All the buildings and stuff are from Unturned 3, and it's kind of thrown together a little bit. This map is a little bit janky. The road like clips in certain places. It's not ideal, but it's at least a look at what it might look like. Although obviously, let's be real for a minute, the Unturned 3 buildings are very simplistic. I mean, every roof in Unturned is this flat square thing, like, there's a lot of room for improvement. And then next up, this is the thing that probably no one understands, and this is just his network transport layer rewrite. We're not going to cover that. I mean, it's just back-end stuff. Most normal people won't notice it. Obviously, if it needed doing, it needed doing. Me and Brad are not professionals, we can't really cover that.
I'm a full-time qualified professional, MrSpaml.
And then obviously this was a pretty major one, updating from Unity 2018 to 2019. Although I don't think in game that affected anything. I can't quite remember. As far as I remember, nothing really changed in game. It just kind of stayed the same, but then, frame rate improved. I remember that frame rate did improve. That was a good update.
There's quite a few updates this last year that have slowly boosted FPS, so good on you, Nelson. That was quite nice.
Yeah, having a higher FPS is fantastic. Like in Unturned 2, the FPS is already very high, but I'm quite worried because every map in Unturned 2 we've seen has been very small or very empty. So by the time he's got everything he wants to add in Unturned 2, I'm not exactly sure how well it's going to run. I'm hoping it still runs.
I have faith.
I wonder when he'll move to Unreal Engine 5, to be honest. Because, come on. That's the real gamer move here. All right, we want ray tracing. Everyone wants it.
Yeah. Right, next up we have transforming the hierarchy revision, which I am a expert in NTLR, but probably not this. But from what I can understand, he pretty much made it so there wasn't a bunch of like nested stuff in the code, so I didn't have to go through layers and layers to get stuff. So that should have boosted your FPS as well. Nelson should just actually change all the updates to just FPS. But don't put these fancy things that us 12-year-olds are going to understand. Just say FPS have gone up.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Like, at the end of the day, most people don't understand the terminology he's using here. User interface rewrite, that's where he changed the UI and everything.
Which I have a few things to say about this, because I don't know if we've covered it in a previous video. But this is really cool because it means people don't need mods anymore to make UI. So people can it's pretty much the same way that UI works on Rust. So you can draw UI with code instead of making a Unity mod, which is very epic.
And then stockpile available in game. This is where Nelson's getting the bread. He's getting the bread, Brad, you know? So he talks about not particularly exciting, but this did boost sales for all items. Basically, he started putting in-game skins and stuff on the homepage of Unturned. I don't know why I didn't really notice that was new. I guess I just didn't really think about it too much. But as obviously, it's boosted sales. Unturned's made some more revenue there from the same number of players. So I guess that's a good thing. I just hope he doesn't, keep that money and puts it towards Unturned 2 instead. This was an update to Elva. I didn't cover this, although, other YouTubers like Liam did. They went in and explored the Elva stuff. I haven't really looked at it, although it was quite cool. At the end of the day, an update is an update. It's just a shame that it's a created map, and will obviously be taken out of Unturned at some point because Nelson does that.
Next up, we have network things, network packaging, network messaging, and RPC. Very boring stuff, but better connection, I believe. Yes, better connection, and I'd also made a few things for plugins a lot easier, which is very cool. And then also included in all of that, I think he kind of did it all at the same time. We have new audio, which I'm sure many of you have noticed when you booted up Unturned. Your footsteps and sloshing through water and everything sounded different. It gave Unturned a bit of a fresh sound to it, and I always thought that he should redo sound at one point just to make the game feel a bit more modern than what it was. And then another thing that I think SpamL definitely appreciates is a voice chat quality upgrade. The voice chat is so much better now compared to how it used to be. You can actually hear people and it's not a kid with a microphone underwater.
The voice chat upgrades, gosh, that is so good. It's about time, really. I mean, I'm not sure why he didn't do that earlier. Who knows? Maybe he was watching Unturned Live and got sick of the audio quality and decided to go fix it.
I'm sure Nelson's a big fan of Unturned Live.
Oh, yeah. He comments on my videos all the time, Brad. Right, and then this is an exciting one. Moddable weather and lightning storms. The first time I experienced one of these lightning storms was a fair bit after it had been added to the game in a random mods video. And it is cool. I'm quite glad he did. Mixing up the weather and adding something like lightning, as well as proper storms and being able to customize it, just makes the game more interesting in general. I'd like to see some people lean into that a little bit more. Maybe a map that's permanently got lightning and is designed to be like that. Might be quite cool.
Or a map.
Who knows? Yeah, exactly. You can do quite a lot with that. I'd love to see people explore just horror a bit more in general in Unturned, and there's a lot they can do.
Next up, we have Kuwait, which is the map that followed up after Elva. I'm sure many of you played it. It's like a deserty map, pretty cool. SpamL and I played that as well, and I liked it. It was quite cool for survival. There was a lot of videos made in it, and I believe that map is still in the game, so that will soon to be replaced by another created map. And we'll wave goodbye to it.
The Chef Zombie plush. I appreciate the fact that Nelson is monetizing the game more. I mean, some people won't. Gosh, the cars are really annoying. But, obviously, the more revenue he has, the more money he has to put towards development. And at the end of the day, that just means a better game. I mean, there's a reason Unturned looks like this. Big AAA games have hundreds of people working on them, and Unturned has 2 when it's really only got 1. So hopefully, if he keeps monetizing things, he's able to get enough revenue to bring in some more employees. I hope that's what he's planning, because he seems to be pushing for a whole lot more monetization recently. So who knows, all right? Please, Nelson, bring some more people on, all right? You deserve it. Next up is monetization rules. Now, we've covered this in other videos, but basically all it means is he changed what you're allowed to sell in-game servers and just some general pay-to-win aspects. I will say the pay-to-win changes haven't actually hit what, in my opinion, is the most egregious pay-to-win, and that's PvP servers. They've only hit roleplay servers. Seems like a bit of a fault of the rules there.
And pretty much Nelson just summarizes this all up. He mentions that this is probably one of the best years for Unturned, development-wise, which he has had some pretty sick updates, especially like the weather and the audio, and a lot of cool curated maps, which has been quite good. He also mentions that one of the worst years was the dev kit focused era, which I don't actually remember that, but I believe it's like he probably did a bunch there and no one ended up using it, so that was one of the worst years. Otherwise, he looks forward to 2022. He wants to add a few more things like netcode, and a few more gameplay features checked off the list. But yeah, that's pretty much it. There is an anniversary contest, which, by the way, Nelson, we see what you did. You stole the Pine contest and made it yours. We will be sending our lawyers.
That is true. Literally, he announced the competition just after we announced the Pine competition, all right? Coincidence? I think not. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe on the left of the screen. Check out these two lovely videos on the right, and I'll see you in the next video.